Republicans talk a little bit about the status of the campaign with 60 days to go. One thing we know about conventions is we're going to hear a lot of good speeches. Heard some good ones in Tampa last week from Mitt and Paul and Ann, and heard a terrific speech, a 28-minute speech. It went 48 last night from the president. And, undoubtedly, we will hear a very good speech tonight from President Obama. It's one of the things he does very well. He ran a very good campaign in 2008. It was positive, uplifting, and got a lot of new people involved in the process to vote for him. This year, though, the campaign is very different. It's small ball. It's focused on small things like tax returns and bank capital and social issues, and not the most compelling things facing America, which is how to get the greatest country on earth out of debt and back to work. That's what independent voters in Virginia and around the country are concerned about, and why I think Mitt Romney will win Virginia. So we heard, again, a very passionate speech from Bill Clinton last night, and again we'll hear no doubt a very rousing, energetic speech from President Obama. He's a very gifted speaker. But here's the reality of this week. Monday, as the convention kicked off, we learned that gas prices were the highest on a Labor Day they've been in the history of the United States of America. On Tuesday, the second day of the convention, we learned that the national debt hit $16 trillion. The highest debt in the history of the United States of America, over $200,000 per family of four. Now, this is a debt level that President Obama called unpatriotic when it was $10 trillion under George Bush in 2008. And yet this president in 3.5 years has added more to the national debt than any president in American history. So after the great speech we hear tonight from President Obama and all the glowing reports that he will undoubtedly get, we're going to wake up in the morning and about 9 o'clock, we're going to get the next jobs report. And that jobs report is going to undoubtedly say that for 43 months, every month of the Obama presidency except his first, that the unemployment rate in the United States of America is over 8%. It means that 23 million Americans don't have access to the American dream. It means 23 million Americans are either underemployed or unemployed. And so when you strip away all the varnish and all the goodwill that might be generated for a couple of hours or even a few days from the speeches, you're going to get back to what Americans really care about, especially those 10-15% of the Americans that are still undecided. And that is, how do we reverse this horrible trend of debt and deficits that is killing opportunities for the future of our country? How do we stop the doubling of gas prices that President Obama has presided over? What are we going to do about the 25% increase in college tuitions that have occurred during the Obama presidency? How are we going to cope with a $4,000 loss in per capita income of the average American family during the Obama administration? What are we going to do about the highest number of people in the history of the country that are on food stamps under the Obama presidency? And that is the issue overwhelmingly that American voters care about. That's what Virginia undecided voters, and frankly Virginia voters across the board care about, is how Americans are going to get back to work and out of debt. Mitt Romney's come up with a compelling 5-point plan of how to raise up the middle class with everything from small business development to workforce development to an energy plan and other things that will make a difference. The last thing I'd like to say is President Clinton gave a great speech, but he had to have a real hard time giving that speech. It's a very different Bill Clinton than it was 4 years ago when he essentially said, this man, President Obama, is not competent to be president of the United States. This administration is not the same party and not the same philosophy of President Bill Clinton. This is the most liberal president in the history of the United States, and this is the most liberal group of delegates, I think, that have ever attended a national convention. If you look at the platform, if you look at what they had to do on the floor last night, in an embarrassing moment to actually have a divided vote on whether they believed in God and whether Jerusalem was the capital of Israel. Bill Clinton was a fundamentally different type of president than Barack Obama. Bill Clinton actually worked with Republicans, with Speaker Gingrich, to enact the contract with America, to pass welfare reform, to balance the budget, to be able to actually create a surplus for the first time in decades, because he moved to the center, moderated his views, worked with Republicans, cared about results more than rhetoric. That's not what you have with this president. This is the most divisive campaign in modern American politics. Again, it's small ball and not focused on jobs and debt reduction and energy and the things that really matter. I think President Clinton, despite his great delivery, was absolutely off base in saying that the debt reduction plan of Barack Obama was good, that he had a comprehensive energy plan. No energy producer in Virginia believes that, because he's pummeling coal and natural gas and nuclear power. And so when the speeches are done and this convention is over, with 60 days to go, the voters are going to decide who's got the best ideas on reducing gas prices, on reducing college tuitions, on creating jobs, and stimulating the economy and getting the country out of debt. And on that, good speeches, but bad policy. Results matter. Rhetoric is cheap. And that's why I think Mitt Romney wins Virginia. And that's why I think he'll be the next president.
Ted Cruz.